This is another installment, I believe installment 5 for CIE-AVC. The date is 10/21/12. Let me adjust the microphone here. Once again, I want to apologize for the fan. From my perspective, the fan, which is about a couple feet away from me, I can barely hear it. It's not that loud. But the microphone really picks it up. So I'll have to watch that from now on. But okay, this is for the last what I have been working on the last 2 days. Well, trying to get the 3D CAD drawings into dip trace. There's several ways of doing it. Bottom line is, there is a website, a repository, where not all but certainly a vast majority of manufacturers, they drop their 3D CAD drawings into this website called 3D Content Central. And the 3D CAD drawings in when I first started out in Eagles, they didn't either they're not there or they didn't export out into dip trace. So what I had to do is go to this website, find something close to what I want. In this particular case, I needed a USB-A right angle through hole 2.5 millimeter pin spreading USB connector. Well, I found it, but then they're in files or in formats that are not conducive to dip trace, so you have to do an intermediate step. You've got to save it and then import it into a program, a CAD program. In this case, this is Wings 3D. This seems to be a very popular program. For one reason, it's very user-friendly, and it's free. But here is the 3D CAD drawing of, and right now, this is in a stereolithography format, STL.STL. And then you save it, and then you export it out into a what's called a WRL or vermal. And that's after you want to make various adjustments to it. In this particular case, I had to shrink this down a little bit so that the pins would line up with the holes. I'll show you that in a second. Let me see. Come down here, back up. There we go. Yeah, I spent the last 2 days trying to figure this stuff out. Wings 3D. You know, a week ago I'd never heard of Wings 3D. Never heard of it until maybe 3 days ago. But if you want a 3D rendering of your PCB board, this is what I had. This is one way of doing it. And so if these pins aren't the right size, you can shrink them down and make some various modifications to this. Let me go like this. Back it up. It's just show one quick little thing here. Highlight that. Hover over that. Right click. Scale uniformly. And now I can shrink this. Okay. To whatever size I want, and I shrunk it down to a size that would be appropriate for my PCB board. Now I'm going to have to undo. There. Okay, so that takes care of that. So then you import it as a vermal, and a vermal is just a file. It's a format, a CAD drawing type format that is accepted by dip trace or various other, whoops, sorry about the microphone there, dip trace, microcap, Altium, OrCAD, Multisim, Eagles, Design Spark, etc. And so then you come here, and I wanted to just show this. Go OK, let it render, and there it is. That's the last 2 days figuring this out. Try and that's the USB, and that will connect to the computer to power up this board. That's just, now there's two ways of powering up the board, as I've stated. USB, or I have a power jack that I haven't yet put in here. The power jack will go here. But this video is just to keep up to date on this stuff. Let me show the holes here. Yeah, that's interesting. The holes. Yeah, that. See, I had to gotta line those holes up exactly. I'm trying to show it. Let's see if it'll move. There they are. This is really weird maneuvering here. There's some holes. So now you can see, I thought maybe there would be a problem over here on this edge, but now with this 3D rendering, I can see what the problem is. It's too late now. The boards are sent off, but that's not a big deal. I'll just straighten this pin. They come curved like that. You can cut them. I'll just simply cut them off. But there's the 3D rendering of it. And boy, let's see. Yeah, there it is. Boom. As you can see, I'm not too proficient at moving this thing around right now. But there's that. Well, that's enough of that. You know, I had a few more things to impart, but right off the top, I can't remember what they were. But anyway, so that's the last 2 days of what I've been doing. And there's that again. So this is Wings 3D. There's also another program. There's several of these programs. I've got also, there's Wings and a Libre. The new version of a Libre is much different than the earlier version. And so they've made it a lot more, I think, less user-friendly. I would get if I was going to use a Libre, I'd use the earlier version, not the most recent version. But there it is. And like I say, these one of the selling points to DipTrace is they say they have all these 3D rendering or CAD drawings in there. Well, I didn't use any of those parts because like I said, at the risk of sounding redundant, I started out in Eagles. As far as I know, those 3Ds, if there are any 3Ds in Eagles, they didn't transfer into DipTrace. It's totally empty of Eagles 3Ds, of transferring of these 3Ds. Now, like I say, one of the selling points of DipTrace is the newest version of DipTrace. They have thousands of these 3D renderings, but I didn't use any of them, and because I had already finished my board in Eagles for the most part, up until I discovered that I couldn't find a board, or a box I should say, that this thing would fit comfortably in. But there's that once again, copper trace. And there's my board. Now the next thing I'm going to do is do the power jack and various other things. Okay, well, if you will, please, anybody viewing this, if you will, leave a comment. If you're interested in knowing how to import and export out of one CAD program into another, I got the recipe or the directions and text files. And so if you want to know how to do it, in the comment box, put your email in there, address in there, and I'll send these things off to you free of charge, of course. I wanted to correct one thing in one of my videos. I may have stated, it may have sounded like I said that this thing was evaluated by several design engineers and they gave it thumbs up. I was not referring to my schematic, my board here. I was referring to DipTrace. DipTrace is what was being analyzed, and they gave DipTrace a thumbs up. So this is DipTrace. And one last thing, I don't like these sharp edges. I try to avoid them as much as possible because of line reflection, as you're well aware. However, in DipTrace, not as easy as it is in Eagles. So I thought about maybe changing this, but first of all, the boards have been sent out. But I didn't catch this one, and I didn't catch this one, and there's even one more in here. I just don't like that. Not that it matters with low frequency. It's not going to make, it's not going to make a big difference, but it's more of a problem curving these things like this in this dip trace in Eagles. Eagles, you just curve it. Okay, this, they have so many intermediate things that happen. You could bend it one way and it takes off in a different direction. It's really bizarre. But anyway, this is David Menifee. This is for my CIE AVC final project. And once again, thanks for listening. Goodbye.